take it or risk it. The time that you spend wrapped up with decisions is handled more than aided. I'll free you. Don't need a plan, body's unknown. You're never alone, I've gotcha. Don't need a map, the fun's adventure. And all I risked, you're diving. Are they listening as I fly so fast, farther than they dare? 'Cause my heart is full, theirs is filled with fear. 'Cause they can't let go, they keep holding on to the past, scared to be out of control. They will never know of this thrill, just think that I'm crazy when I dive here. 'Cause they can't let go, they keep holding on to the past, scared to be out of control. They will never know of this thrill, just think that I'm crazy when I dive in.
Hello everyone. Hello lovely girls and me and my guester and Sleepy. Hey everyone, I hope everyone is having a good weekend so far. It's not bad at all. I thought, oh, you thought it was going to be hardcore wubbing, like the visual dubstep? Yeah, I actually put the music into Filmora and I played with the levels a little bit, and I set it to like, I think I set the equalizers to like country, like country music or something, just to kind of bring that down, because I like the song, but just the break that happens in the middle of the song is a bit intense, and I was like, I don't want to like jar people awake. But again, I might have been overthinking it because I do that with everything. Hey Candy Banana. So guys, this is how my week went before we start anything, right? I finished the video and I set it up on Patreon last week on Wednesday, which meant that I knew Wednesday this week it would go public. So then I wanted to set the live stream for after the video goes public, so that we can like talk about and stuff like that, because I feel that makes for a good live stream. Hey Hunter, how you doing? So what happened was, on Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember, I put up the announcement that we're live streaming on Saturday. And then on Wednesday, the video went public, and it's doing quite well, I think. I don't check the view count, but it's been getting a lot of comments, so I'm like, okay, it's probably doing well. Thursday afternoon, my producer comes to me and he goes, hey, we have this urgent work that's come in. We need you on this. And of course I go, yeah, of course, sure. So Thursday and Friday, I did 5 days worth of work in 2 days. So I am exhausted today. I am completely wrecked. So I was thinking, and also my wrist is a little bit strained as a result, because I mean it's like 2 days solid work, basically non-stop. Like I would work, I would finish up until a certain time, and I'd get into bed and I'd just collapse, and then the second I get up the next morning, I just start work right away until I managed to get the scene done, and then I was like, okay, done. Hey, Ranky7Y go. I'm just gonna say Ranky if that's okay. I like to shorten people's names. Anyway, so my thinking was, because my wrist is a little sore today, I'm going to stream for an hour today, and then I'm going to do a bonus stream next Saturday, because I didn't want to cancel because it was way too short notice. You know, I can't on Friday evening say, hey, we're going to cancel the stream because my wrist is sore, because that's just kind of too short notice for everyone. So I thought that we'll do an hour today, and then we'll do like a proper live stream next week, just after my wrist has rested up a little bit. If you need a nap, that is fine. Sounds like a harsh week. No. I'm actually okay. I'm exhausted, but we can do this. I'm just not going to go for too long, because I don't want my wrist to get like actual carpal tunnel or anything like that. And I can do a little bit. It's not super bad, and I made the commitment. So I'm one of those people. If I make a commitment, I like to stick to the commitment. You know what I mean? So let me get my tablet started, and then get it up here on OBS. It's window capture, yes. Hide this, transition, there we go. Lorenzo, you said I can call you. No, I actually use Clip Studio Paint, which I was all like, oh, Clip Studio Paint is so great, I highly recommend the program, especially because it's a once-off purchase. And then literally the day after I said that, they were like, oh, we're going to a subscription model moving forward. And I was so angry. I was so annoyed, because that was like one of the major selling points for me, and like why I would recommend it to people. I was really annoyed about that. I don't mind if you don't want to overwork yourself. No, it's okay. We can do an hour. I just don't want to like shortchange you guys. So I figured we'll do a short one today, and then next week we'll do like a good 2 or 3 hours. Totally understandable. I've been doing workout routines and my arms get sore. Thankfully today's recovery day, so I can draw. Oh, that's good. Yeah, see, it is kind of that thing. It's like, we can do it. We just mustn't do a full workout day on an injury, basically. Even though it's not really an injury, it's a strain, you know. You've overworked the tendon. So that's what it is. The Virgin Clip Studio Paint versus the Chad MS Paint. You know what? That would be a joke, but at this point in time, that's actually not as much of a joke as it sounds. So for today, I don't know if you guys had any like, I guess, requests on who we should draw. I have an idea for who I thought I would draw, but I thought I would hear what you guys think first before I just say, oh, today we're doing this, because I like to give the chat the option to kind of give it input on what they'd like to see and what they think it would be fun, and so on and so forth. Like something kind of relevant to the videos and streams and such. I'm not, you know, I'm not taking like full-on requests like draw my OC or anything like that, but I was just thinking, Jack Person. I have no idea what that is, but the idea I was thinking was actually if we should draw Olive, because we've drawn a few of the characters except Rose and Sage because I don't like them, but we haven't drawn Olive, and as much as she is a Tokyo Mew Mew recolor, her design isn't that bad when she's in her school uniform. And I actually like her body shape, and I like the poses they put her in. So I was thinking maybe we should go for her. Interns of High Guardian Spice. But yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I don't know if you guys had someone else in mind at all. Do I have this? And also just let me know how the sound is, if I need to turn something up or turn myself down or anything like that. But I think it's okay, because I've more or less got the hang of this, I feel. So let me just make some circles so I can see how things are feeling here. What do you think, Hunter? Yeah, Olive is actually Tokyo Black Cat Girl. She kind of is, I agree. But as I said in the video, I don't know whether the creators of High Guardian Spice are even aware of Tokyo Black Cat, because I admit I don't have a lot of faith in their knowledge, but at the same time I do understand that that kind of makes me seem a little conceited, like, oh, you guys don't know as much as I do. Like, it kind of comes across that way. But it also makes me wonder how much they know about things like that. Do my take on the pink-haired edgelord? Ah, that's actually a good idea. I'm not very good at like redesigns, but maybe we must do him like next week, because I kind of want to do Olive, but also I'm just thinking like I can maybe think of how I would redesign him, because at the moment he doesn't really have a design. He's in his long cloak and then he's in his school uniform, and that's kind of it. Maybe I can get like references together during the week, and then we can try and do like a redesign, and you guys can see how bad I am at it. I'm really not good at designing off the top of my head. It's a big weak point of mine. I should probably think about suggestions before jumping into streams in the future. I'm blank, but yeah. Olive sounds good. Thanks, Sleepy. Yeah, it's kind of an idea. I've already kind of just drawn her here, but just to feel how my wrist feels. It's not actually a commitment or anything, because I'm not thinking of a pose or anything here. So we can actually just get rid of this. It feels okay though. It's not pinching, so I think we're okay. Hey, Prophet 191. Huzzah, I made it. What did I miss? Not much. I was just saying I had this really intense work week, so we're not going to go too long, but we'll do a bonus stream next week, because I didn't want to reschedule last minute. I thought that was kind of not a good idea and kind of just unfair to people. So, give Parlsey's mom her beard. That's such a good idea. Should we do that? I actually really like that idea. I'm so on board with that idea, especially because I showed you guys the art of, I forget the artist's name now because I'm terrible with names, but this artist's female dwarf's artwork, I am obsessed. It's so good. But maybe give her muscles too. Yeah, maybe we should do that. Let me get a screenshot of her, because I know I've got quite a few. At the moment, I'm not deleting any of these folders I have for High Guardian Spice. I figured, like, once I finish the Final Thoughts video, we'll just do, like, a mass exorcism of all this data off my poor machine. Do we have a full body shot of her, I wonder? Because we've got this. And we've got her... Oh... We kind of do. Okay, we have this, which isn't really a full body shot, but it shows us what her shoes are. Okay, she just kind of wears generic boots. closes. Oh, it's so good. Close this, close this, close this. Okay. Give her muscles too. I like that idea. So her head shape is, she kind of has the same head shape, she just has a stronger jaw. Do this. What is her? She kind of has the mom shape, so I don't think she is. Yeah, she's kind of square. She's not really very curvy. She doesn't have the anime mom proportions. Kneaded eraser. Go down to 70 and then go here. Yeah, go for it. Sounds like a good idea. Better to not burn yourself out. Yeah, it's more the physical muscle. Like, I don't want to injure the tendon. That's more what it is. Because, like, I can push through being tired, like, just mentally fried. That's not a problem. It's more like somebody was saying, I think it was Hunter was saying in chat, it's more like working a muscle that is technically injured and making it do things, which is not a good idea because you can end up like doing real physical damage, and I just don't want to do that because then I have to like rest it longer. It's what's the word? Not counterintuitive, counterproductive. That's the word. I'm just waiting for my chat to catch up with me because sometimes it gets a little funny. Buff dwarf mommy, yeah. Also, I tweaked the Nightbot. I think Nightbot should be in chat, but I did tweak Nightbot so it's not as zealous with telling people, hey, you can't chat in caps so many times in a row and stuff. So it should be a little bit. It should be a little bit more lenient, but we'll see. If it's still being a little bit too much, I'll tweak it again. That's why she has so many kids. Sometimes when drawing too so long, you wait 10 minutes or so, cool down, just like doing a routine. Yeah, but see, that's the thing, like, because this was urgent work that needed to be done, like, ASAP. I, like, literally it was 7 or 8 hours non-stop. No lunch break, no breather, just go, get it done as fast as humanly possible, to the level of quality that they expect from me. So it was relatively intense. And people better like this show when it comes out, because we work way too hard on this show for people to not like it. But I think people will like it. Like, I'm not even that concerned about it. It's nice to have like a show that you're working on that you're like, oh no, people will be into this. I don't even need to worry. People will like this. There we go. And her hair is, she kind of has, she just has like generic mom hair. Okay. I'm gonna make her dress just kind of stick out a little bit just to give her some shape. Turn this down. Hey, I'm here. Hey, Penguin. Nightbot was weird for me on someone else's stream. Apparently I can't say a word related to seizures. That's weird. It might be that they, like, the person who owns the stream might have blacklisted a word or something. My problem with Nightbot was it was putting people into timeout just for putting too many caps in stream. And it's like, no, it's fine. It's just people like being very excited about something. You don't need to time out somebody for that. But you have to like go into a separate website to adjust it. And it's difficult to do that when you're on stream because there's more than one person in stream, so you can't just derail the entire stream just to try and sort out one person. But I think it should be better now. Don't draw the beard, just use a painting filter or beard PNG. Beard PNG would be apt for this show, but no, I'm actually going to draw the beard. But we'll see how it goes because, like I said, I'm very exhausted today, so the art might be a little bit crap, but we're just going to work through it, deal with it. It's just going to be one of those days where we're just going to deal with whatever we get given. sometimes days are just like that, and you just kind of got to deal with it. Now her eyes. Actually, I'm going to close this because I know she just has the regular boots. I don't need to be too concerned about that. Be right back, need to. Okay, I'll see you in a bit, Sleepy. Hi, Sleepy. Just as I saw your message, you came back. But yeah, we have one more High Guardian Spice video to go, because originally I was just going to, well, it was just going to be one video, but it turned out there was way too much to talk about to just put into one video, and it turned into this monstrosity. But I didn't want to put like my final thoughts at the end of the final video, because it would have made the video like almost like an extra hour or something long, I feel. Because I want to talk a bit about things that didn't fit into a structured review. Like, I want to talk about who was this show made for? Like, who did the show creators want to be the ones who watch it? Because that's one question I can't figure out. Like, I cannot figure out who the show was made for. I can't figure out who the target audience was supposed to be. The husband might be jealous. Maybe. Like, it's funny because a lot of the dads in this show are meant to be kind of mean, and they all seem fine to me. Like, all the overbearing parents, they don't seem that bad in this show. You're supposed to hate them, but they're like fine. There's nothing really wrong with any of them. Give her just a little bit of that so she is a little older. I am going to reference this picture just a little bit. I'm not going to copy it wholesale. I just want to see, because surprise, surprise, for somebody who draws ponies and anime girls, I don't draw a lot of beards. I can't use my drawing app for some reason, so I've just been using the editing on the Photos app. Oof, that's rough. Let me see. Her hair, oh, she has like curly hair, so it should be almost similar for the beard, I feel. And we'll give it a nice bow at the end so that it can be a little bit feminine. There we go. Just curious, what are you going to do after High Guardian Spice? Are you going to cover more anime in the future? Oh, absolutely, yeah. I have so many ideas. I actually want to go to the Chinese supermarket and buy a whiteboard so I can actually structure all the videos I want to do. The next video that's going to be coming up, and it might come up before the final thoughts video, is the Halloween special. Well, I can't talk. The Halloween special, where I talk about things that traumatized me as a child, which might not actually be scary, but for some reason really got to me when I was a kid. And I put up the poll, and that's what people were most interested in. And when I saw that was going to win the poll, I punched out a script for that, and I think a day. I have one last thing to add to the script and it will be done. So then I can film and edit that as soon as I'm feeling a little better, and then we can have that up and ready very soon, so I can get it out like mid-October or even the start of October, because I don't think I want to release it on the 31st of October, because I know Halloween is only the one day, but it's almost like, well, Halloween is almost over when you get to that point, right? So release it a little bit before Halloween, because then we're all kind of still in that spooky spirit, right? But that's the one thing. The other thing I was thinking was wanted to do like a deep, in-depth video on the road to El Dorado, because I like watching reaction channels where they watch movies for the very first time. And I watched somebody watch that movie for the first time, and it wasn't until I did that I realized how much I love that film. And when watching it again, I saw all these things to do with real world history that's accurate in this movie. Like things that they did not need to get accurate, they put so much effort into. So I thought it would be cool to point out like, oh, this is historically accurate and this is historically accurate. Just little things, like the fact that all the buildings in the road to El Dorado, the big pyramids and stuff, they're all painted like a bright red color, and that is actually accurate. That is what those buildings looked like in the 1600s. Like, that is the level of accuracy in that film. And I haven't really seen anyone do that or talk about that on YouTube, and I thought that might be a cool video. But I also want to talk about the Dreamstone cartoon, which I've been threatening to talk about for a while, because I love it so much, and because it's a British cartoon, I don't know how many people are aware of it, although apparently it aired, me and my guest who's in chat said she saw it in Poland in like the mid-90s, so it did get around a little bit, but I thought that is something that I kind of want to talk about. And then the big one I want to talk about is Bee and Puppy Cat. And originally I was like, oh, that will be a nice companion piece to High Guardian Spice, because I have a lot of faith in that cartoon. But I saw the thumbnail for Saberspark's video, and apparently it's a bit of a mess, which I'm a little disappointed to hear, but I'm gonna watch it anyway, because chances are I might not think it's a mess, because I've had that before where people will be like, oh, this show is such a disaster, and you watch it and you're like, no, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, it's fine. So we'll see, but that's definitely something I want to cover because I feel it's topical and it matches with my channel, especially because I covered a lot of other things like Sailor Moon, which I never shut up about, and High Guardian Spice and such, and I think that would be a good fit for the channel as well. And also because, you know, I followed Bee and Puppy Cat since the pilot released, like, what, 1,000 years ago or something. Yeah, I think it was before Steven Universe aired, I saw the pilot. Jeez. So I figured that would be a good video or video series, depending on how it goes. And if it's messy as people say it is, I will talk about it and comment on how messy it is. And if I like it and I don't find it messy, we'll talk about what I like about it. Either way, it'll be an interesting discussion. Sorry, I'm a little behind on chat. Oh, hey Zane. Well, you could like The Simpsons and just release the Halloween video right after Halloween. No, I kind of want to keep it on topic because I think during that time people will be like searching for Halloween videos, and I think that would be a good slot for it. The intention of the creators seems to be a kid slice of life show, but the executive side seem to have greenlit the show with a different idea in mind. Yeah, that's kind of what I think as well. But one thing I want to do in the final thoughts video is I want to be careful not to speculate too much, because I do have a habit of doing that where I think, well, this is what sounds logical to me, so that's probably what happened, and then I present that and be like, this is what I think happened, but that doesn't mean that's what actually happened, you know, so I don't want to accidentally spread misinformation as a result. Did I mention last time, the guy in armor that's a big bad in El Dorado is an in real life figure. Hernan Cortez was a conquistador back in those times, subjugating natives and stuff. Yeah, I don't think you mentioned it, but I am aware of that. Apparently, like, he was awful, but he wasn't the worst of the guys. There's this other guy whose name I forget, and he was the one who was really hell-bent on bringing Christianity to the savage natives. And he was the guy who was behind just like destroying so many artifacts and stuff. And ironically, because he took so many notes about like the Mayan language and Mayan artifacts as he was destroying them, the reason we can read as much Mayan as we can is because of this guy who was so dead set on eradicating it. Like, it's his fault, for lack of a better word, that we have all this information. So love that for him. But yeah, I know Hernan Cortez is actually in the movie. Like, that's literally who that is. It's not even like a caricature of him. That's literally supposed to be him. The only British cartoon that comes to mind for me is The Animals of Farthingwood. Yeah, I watched that as well. Surprisingly, that's not going on the childhood trauma list. As far as I remember, that's a pretty good cartoon though. Like, it's not bad at all. I remember watching it. But my English wasn't great at the time it was airing, so if I get bored in a show when I was like 5 or 6, I would stop watching it, because if I can't understand what's going on, I get bored, and then I would just stop watching it. Again, the art might be a little bit rough today, guys. I apologize for that, but we're just going to deal with it. And I drew her thumb on the wrong side of her hand. That's great. There we go. So, pinky. There we go, it's better. At least I think that's right. Yes, it is. Do that. Do that. I like while El Dorado is fictional story, it shows Spanish conquistadors in negative light rather than Disneyfying the story. Yeah, there's like... And I think that what's great about that film in that sense is that we, the audience, obviously know the real world history. So when we see Hernan Cortés show up, we already are like, oh shit, this is bad. This is such bad news. And the movie knows how to play into that, which is very cool. It's just a good movie. I also think she's off balance a little bit. Hold on. A little bit. Let's try to fix this. Perspective. Just kind of straighten her. There we go, that's better. I know some people that are really enjoying Bee and Puppy Cat, though I haven't seen it yet. Okay, that's good to hear. Because like I said, I just saw the thumbnail for Saberspark's video and he mentioned it's a mess. And I was like, oh, that's a shame. But I haven't watched the video yet because I don't want people's opinions to influence me if I'm planning to cover a topic. Oops, sorry, that was me bumping my mic. Oh, question about High Guardian Spice. After they fought that robot octopus, someone shot an arrow at Calloway only to have him catch it with ease. What do you make of that scene? I don't know. Like, Caraway is such a bizarre character because, yes, it's Caraway is a very obvious self-insert, but Caraway has no character to him. He's only there to exposit what it means to be trans, and that is his only function. That is the only reason he exists. So it's like, okay. It's one of those things where it's like, if your character can be replaced by like a book, that's not a good sign. Just catching up with chat a bit. I only thought English was your first language and it was just your regional accent. It is actually my regional accent, but I could speak English from a very young age. I think by 5 and 6 I was already speaking English, but it's not my first language, and even now it's not the language I speak at home. Average Pocahontas fan versus average Road of El Dorado player. It's true. Oh hey, I caught a stream. Hey Sleeper Ninja. Been binging your High Guardian Spice content and I really enjoy your channel. Thank you so much and thanks for hanging out. I don't remember what happened. Do you guys recommend El Dorado? Yes, absolutely. I recommend Road to El Dorado. It's so good. It's such a good movie. That's the other thing. I kind of want to talk about why that movie's good just in a general sense as well. Like, not even just because it's historically accurate. There's just so many good things about that movie. That movie was so good that when I was in animation college, we like studied part of that film in terms of filmmaking and why it's good. Okay, this perspective here is really off. Oh, should I put bread PNG on the tray? I'm going to do that. Hold on. We gotta go to Google and get bread PNG. Let me open up another tab. Google bread PNG. While that's loading, I'll catch up with chat. I got back and I see a very handsome lady dwarf happening on screen. What a treat. Yeah, no worries, eh? I'll always recommend El Dorado. Yes, it's very good. It's very, very good. Oh, that also made me realize the show has several different teachers, yet they don't give them any episodes or stories to focus on. Yeah, there's like a centaur, and you see her once in like episode 2 or something, and then you never see her again until they have like all the teachers pass out in the finale. That is the only other time you see her. Okay, these are all from the top. I wonder if I can get one. If I put in bread PNG into this search engine, I wonder if it'll give me the exact one. because that would be really funny. Sorry guys, I'm looking for bread PNG. This is important. We need this image. This isn't the exact one, but this will do. Go here. And we'll download it. Download full size. And then we'll open it. And we'll drop it into Clip Studio Paint. There we go. Aha! It's like painted and like it's got a filter over it and everything. Is great. Go back here. That's so big. Let's make it small. Flip it. Oh, that's so good. It's so good. And we'll just zoom in and erase it here at the bottom. Incredible. Incredible. Okay, sorry. That was really important. They keep saying in the... Oh, you're talking to somebody else, sorry. And the songs are also very good. Even in my country, it got translated really well, and it's a bop. Yeah, the songs are also... They're like... Because they were written by Elton John. I think he performs them in the movie. And I don't know if Tim Rice was also on it, because they advertised it as being the group from The Lion King. And, I mean, I got the soundtrack growing up, and it's really good. It's just a really well done movie. She's wearing like an apron. Okay. Do that. Do that. Okay, so the apron goes like this. How did I have the dress here? Okay, there we go. Wait, she's got it like tied, so this should go like this, and then it should tie in the back here like this. And this goes down here. Okay. Like I said, the art's going to be a little rough today, guys, but we're just going to deal with it and work through it. Let's kind of give it a peek. There we go. Just catch up with chat. Hey, you know what other show uses bread PNGs? I actually don't. Like, I genuinely don't. I thought there's a chance Caraway could have been sliced inside that octopus, considering they cut through the tentacles just fine. You know what? That's a good point. I never even thought of that, but you're right. There's so much, like, I see people putting in comments on the video as well, and they point out things, and I'm like, you know, it's like, and another thing wrong with this show, and it's things I didn't even think of, and it's like, oh Lord, you're right. Like, you can just keep going with this show and just keep finding more and more and more, where it's like, and this, and this, and this, and all of it is valid. Like, I haven't seen one person say something in the comments where I'm like, I think that's a little bit unfair. It's like, no, people are pointing out things that I never would have thought of myself that are also problems. It's incredible. This is why this turned out into a full series and not just a singular video. There's too much to talk about. It's too much. Let me just, there we go. And then she has a collar. I think. How does this collar work? Hold on. Yeah. So it's kind of like this. The collar comes here. Just do that. And then she's got like this. And then we don't really see what it looks like underneath the apron, but that's fine. I'll just put a little X there. And then her boots are just kind of generic, like mountain boots, hiking boots, whatever you want to call them. I think maybe I should just give her Parsley's boots. Hold on. That's another thing I want to talk about in the final thoughts video, is the fact that Parsley, after she gets like a bunch of really good episodes, they forget, like they can't think of anything else to do with her. So she just becomes less relevant than Amaryllis, who's supposed to be a secondary character. Like they don't know what to do with Parsley after they give her arc with her parents. And she almost completely disappears from the show after that, which is a big shame because she was one of the best main characters. So I want to talk about that too. Let's do this. Do this. Do this. Do this. Do this. Do the toe. These can actually go a bit higher. Okay, they don't really give Parsley any real definition, so I'm just going to make a rough estimation of what those look like there. And then I'll give her socks because otherwise I'm going to cringe. Okay, that's good enough. Do I want to do anything else? She looks a little bald over here, hold on. Give her some more curls. Hide this. There we go. Ugh. And I think that should be good. I think I saw in a screenshot that her apron's actually shorter than the dress, but that's fine. What I may do, however, is... Actually, if I make it here, if I do this... Oops. Here we go. So if I do this for the dress, you can put that so that there's a slight underdress to the main dress. And then we can have the apron a bit shorter, so it's up here. So we've got like a nice layering effect. There we go. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Let me catch up with chat here. High Guardian Spice should have stayed a webcomic. It really should have. It feels like a webcomic. Like, I'm not saying that to be nasty because there are some amazing webcomics out there, but it genuinely feels like a webcomic I would read back in the day. Like before YouTube was a thing, that's what I did with. That was like my form of internet entertainment, was reading webcomics, and it genuinely feels like one I would have read back in the day. What are your thoughts on the many areas in terms of animation and High Guardian Spice? I mentioned it in the videos, but I feel the majority of the errors come from storyboarding and poor planning. I don't think the animation itself, it's not good animation. It really isn't, but I feel that the reason why it's not good is because the animators were given poor material to work with. And I'm gonna guess they were also like on crunch time or something. And because Ray Rodriguez is like, oh, the reason the animation looks like that is because we had to outsource it to Korea. But I looked at the studio's sizzle reel, like their demo reel of projects they'd worked on, and they've got some very nice animated things in there. Like they worked on some of the, I think it's the new Harley Quinn show, the animated one. Like they've got that in their reel. They've got stuff that looks really good. So it's not the studio's fault. They've done good stuff. High Guardian Spice should have had its story drafted way before it even started production. Then again, I'm not a judge. Yeah, like Ray Rodriguez, in his attempts to deflect responsibility for what the show turned into, he kind of digs himself into a deeper hole because he's like, oh well, we started storyboarding before the script was done. And I'm like, that makes it worse. You realize why that makes it worse, right? Can't really say anything that definite on High Guardian Spice other than it makes a good case study for when I eventually try and write a story. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I find it so fascinating to talk about, because it's difficult to see what not to do in a show that's done well, because so much of what not to do is hidden because you're not supposed to see it. So when you have a show that has its flaws so apparent, it's much easier to see, oh, so that's what I'm not supposed to do. And that's the same with books and with movies and all that. It's like, okay, so that's why we don't do it that way. The breed seems like something yeah, it's bread PNG, dude. Look, it's delicious bread PNG. This is so stupid. In a more elaborate version of the show, Amaryllis would have found a way to unify her fighting style because she either axes or wands but can never carry both together. You know what? That's a good idea. Why can't she have like an axe that is a wand? That would be amazing. Like you have an axe but it doubles as a wand. That would be really cool. I want to see that now. Somebody do that. Do this. Let's put my chat here so I can read it while I work. In rare case, not planning or story beforehand leads to interesting results. Neon Genesis Evangelion has disastrous production, but its most successful original anime franchise in history. Yeah, Neon Gen Evangelion, like, oof, what an absolute disaster that production was. Like, literally everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, up to and including literal terrorism. Oh, absolute disaster. But also I'm thinking like a show that I kept thinking of is the Beast Wars cartoon, the Transformers Beast Wars cartoon from like 1995 or whatever. A big thing about that cartoon is they didn't know if it was supposed to be set on prehistoric Earth or not, because they had to wait for Hasbro to give them the okay, whether that's what Hasbro wanted to do. So they would play around with the idea and they just never knew, okay, does this take place on Earth or not? And they had to half-ass it until literally the finale when it finally came out, okay, no, it is prehistoric Earth. But because that show had good writers, they managed to work it out in a way where when it gets to that reveal, it almost feels earned in a way. It feels like they planned to get there. And it's because they had people on the writing staff who had been doing this for quite a while and like knew how to handle a show. But that's one thing that kept coming up in my mind in terms of having a client that's difficult to work with and still having your show turn out as a good product, you know? Because I keep comparing things to Sailor Moon, and I kind of want to turn that down a little bit because I like Sailor Moon a lot and it's something I have a lot of knowledge in. But I don't want people to roll their eyes every single time I bring it up, like that's my only frame of reference. When the reality is it's just, it remains relevant. But like Ray Rodriguez, one of his excuses is High Guardian Spice has such a small budget. I'm like, you know what else had a very small budget? Sailor Moon. That show had no budget. But it had Ikuhara as a director. Catch up with chat a little bit. What I hated the most about Rosemary's design is the fact I can't see her ears. And don't give me that poofy hair crap because the promo art shows her ears. You know, I never realized that before. I like your hey Game Master. I like your High Guardian Spice series. It's nice to have a reasonable review of it instead of just listening to someone complain for 30 minutes straight. Yeah, like I said, I found that all the discussions surrounding it were very focused on the meta. Like the creators and the absolute disaster of a marketing scheme that Crunchyroll tried to pull. And that's like what everybody was talking about. And I'm like, okay, but is the show good? Because sometimes even if everything surrounding a show is terrible, the show can still be good. And then I watched the show and I was like, nope, the show is not good. But I didn't really see anyone talking about why the show is not good on its own. Because they would just mention the production and the people involved and such. And I'm like, yeah, but even if you remove it from all of that, the show is not good. It's not a good show. It's badly written. Even if it had the best production in the entire world and nothing went wrong and it didn't have this disastrous marketing scheme, it would still be a bad show just because it's written badly. go. I'm not going to color her, but I'm actually going to save this. I should save this. And then we'll color her next time, and we'll also do Olive next time. What is... oh, we'll just call it Parlsey's mom. Just for the sake of my wrist, if you came in late, I had a massive work week, so my wrist is a little bit fragile this weekend, but I didn't want to cancel the stream. So we're just doing a shorter stream this week, and then we're going to have a bonus stream next weekend after my wrist gets some rest. So if you came in late, that's what this story is. I find it sad, like all the female characters have really cute painted nails, but I'm guessing because Parsley's mom is a mom, they didn't give her that. Do that. Do that. And that is also why the art is a little bit rougher this weekend. Here we go. Low budget is no excuse for bad writing, it's true. Inexperience can be an excuse for bad writing, but that's not the excuse Rodriguez decided to go with. But like I said, I'll discuss that more like when I do the final thoughts, because I also have some thoughts about his handling of responsibility. But it's difficult because I do want to keep up what I've been doing with the series so far, where I don't bring the meta into it too much. So I'm not going to start in the final thoughts and be like, you said this and you said that, and then like 3 years ago on Twitter you tweeted out this tweet which means X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about the show as a whole and just my thoughts after having watched it like 4 times, maybe 4.5 for the series. Especially because I think like that whole, oh, you said this and you said that and etc, blah blah blah, like I feel that's what a lot of other videos on YouTube have already covered in terms of this show. I feel like that's a talking point many people have gone over, whereas I want to try and rein myself in and only focus on the show. Like I said, like, who was the show made for? That is, I feel, a much more interesting talking point than like tearing into the creators. Okay, see you, Hunter. Thanks for checking in. Please give her painted nails. A mom can still be glamorous. Okay, I absolutely will, because I fully agree. Like I said, we'll color her next time, and then we can think of a nice color to give her. Revolutionary Girl Utina is a gorgeous looking movie, even though it made me so many questions. Revolutionary Girl Utina, the movie, is also made by Ikuhara. That's the thing. It's like, oh, Utina, the anime, had such a incredibly small budget, but it's this, it knew where to put its budget. And it's like, well, it's because Ikuhara directed it. It's like Sailor Moon had such a small budget, but it knew how to use it. Yeah, it's because Ikuhara directed it. It's one of those things where the same person involved is like, oh, it's because the person at the head of the studio structure knew what he was doing. Hey, Hieronymus. Hey, I discovered you from the High Guardian Spice video. I don't really notice a lot of errors in shows because I'm not too observant, but it's nice to see your vids talk about the positive aspects too. Thank you. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, why this show is frustrating at the end of the day is because you can see the potential in it. Like, if it was just something like The Nut Shack, it's like, okay, it's a bad show. You know, it's like, okay, so what? The show's bad. Doesn't really affect my life. But what makes High Guardian Spice annoying is there's so much of it where you're like, if you guys had just taken a little bit of extra time, you could have developed this into something really cool. And it's frustrating to see the writers take every single opportunity they have and not follow through with it. Like, that's where the main frustration lies. Yeah, the behind the scenes of this show's production was a train wreck, but we all knew that going in. There's so much more valuable information to be gained from constructively criticizing it. Yeah, I agree, and that's the thing. And I'm like, it's really interesting. Like, I find it very interesting. A couple of minutes before the stream, a bit thought my shirt was a flower. A bee thought your shirt was a flower? Oh. I tend to roll my eyes whenever I find a video that immediately dives into the IRL and doesn't discuss the show at all outside of confirming bias. Yeah, that's kind of the impression I got. And I think that's a fair conversation to have, but I feel it's a conversation we've been having over and over and over again. And I'm like, there's so much more to discuss here. There's so much more interesting material here. It kind of gets to a point where you're like, yeah, we get it. We get it. You know, show creators problematic. Can we talk about the other parts of it too, please? Hey, Sleepy. It's the redacted. Every single time I see the word redacted, I think of that clip from Bug Snacks with, I forget his name, but he's my favorite character. The hypochondriac guy, the guy who doesn't want to leave his cabin and stuff, where he thinks that the reporter that you play as is like working for the Illuminati or something. People who haven't played the game or haven't watched the Let's Play have no idea what I'm talking about right now. I actually was thinking of mentioning Bug Snacks in the final thoughts, just because if you want something that has incredibly well done queer representation in it, unironically, Bug Snacks has some amazing representation in it, and that's because its queer characters, they're just there. They just exist, and they're just there. And nobody, like, makes a point of it. Nobody complains about it. Nobody even points it out. It's just, yep, that one is non-binary. Those two are both girls, and they're married. Like, it's not even a thing. It's just an existence in the show, in the game. And I'm like, you know, it's difficult to try and articulate myself when my brain is as fried as it is today. But I think you guys get what I mean. I like bees because I've never been stung. Oh, that's cool. I've been stung, but I'm slightly allergic, so it's never a fun experience for me. You thought queer was a slur? Some people say that, but I disagree, and it's a much bigger conversation as to why. But one of the things that I feel is important is because queer is non-specific. So if you feel you are part of the LGBTQ community because you know that you're not straight, but you're not entirely sure what you are. Like, you can't figure out, am I gay? Am I trans? Am I bisexual? What is going on? Like, if you genuinely don't know, or you don't feel the need to look that deep into it, queer is a very nice umbrella term. And the other thing is, a lot of people will say queer is a slur because they want to hear what kind of gay are you? And the reason they want to know is often because they want to know whether you qualify as gay enough. Like, they want to know, are you bisexual? Because there might be people who feel, oh, bisexual people aren't actually gay. You know, there's like a whole messiness to it. And they want to know what kind of gay you are so they know whether they can exclude you from the conversation. And those are the kinds of people I find most are like, queer is a slur. That's why, is because they want to figure out, can I be biased against you? And if they can't figure out what kind of queer you are, it frustrates them. And it's like, yeah, that's why it's an all-encompassing term, so that people can't do that. But it's a big conversation, and it's probably a little bit too complex to discuss in a stream. We've done the line art, so I'm going to save her, and we'll chat a little bit longer, and then I'm going to say goodnight, but we'll chat a little bit before I do so. Like I said, we will stream again next weekend, so it'll probably be a much longer stream then. We'll do like 2 or 3 hours next weekend. Representation being truly normalized instead of put onto a pedestal. Yeah, exactly, and that's what Bugsnax does. It literally is just like we have queer characters. We're not making a statement about it. We're not trying to wave a banner. We just have them. They're just in the game. They didn't even put that in the marketing. It's not in the marketing. It's not in the trailers. It's just like a fact of the game. And they don't see it as a big enough deal to mention it. And I'm like, that's exactly how it should be. It's just a normal thing. These are just normal characters. It's weird how a psych horror for kids has better rep than High Guardian Spice. I know, right? Also, hi Eldritch Abomination. I don't know if I said hello to you yet. Hey Sode. I think if Parlsey and her family had more focus in the story, it would have been really interesting. Honestly, it would have. I'm still in the camp that Parlsey makes for a much better main character than the other characters do. But I also feel that might be why, after her situation with her family is wrapped up, they don't know what to do with her, because she's kind of wrapped up the only character arc they gave her. And they're like, okay, well, now what do we do with this character? And then they turned her into stone, because they couldn't think of anything. I like if you speak in your original language so we can guess. I said a person expressed differently. Okay, you probably will get it right away, especially because I'm from South Africa and stuff, but give me something to say, and I'll say it as best I can in my home language. Okay, I know High Guardian Spice is a failure, but I wouldn't mind a High Guardian Spice wizardly clone. Yeah, like, I think, and also I want to talk about the people who do like rewrites and redesigns in the Final Thoughts video, because I feel that is an interesting topic, and I feel it's a big positive that has come from High Guardian Spice, and I kind of want to acknowledge how much creativity people have put onto this project, just as, not really fans, but as people who are like, I want to rewrite this, I want to redesign this, I want to make it interesting, because there's some really cool stuff out there. Let me just put my image on so we're not just looking on at a static screen here. It's this, and it's this. There we go. That's me. I would like to plagiarize High Guardian. It's trash and rewrite it better. Do it. Honestly, I've seen so many people rewrite it and make it like really interesting. Like, you can 100% do that. I would play around with what a blacksmith can do in a fantasy world. Yeah, see, that's such a good idea. And imagine if you leaned more into the magical girl aspect of it. Like a blacksmith magical girl. That is a fascinating and awesome concept. Like, that is so cool. She could have like as her magical weapon like just a giant hammer. It could be really awesome. And she could use like all kinds of metallurgy in her attacks and stuff. It could be really cool. It's such a cool idea. What's my opinion on redemptions? You mean like in story arcs as a whole? Because I've said it in the past and I'll say it again, one of my favorite characters of all time is Discord from My Little Pony. So I think that kind of gives you an idea. I love Discord so much. He's such a good character. How about saying the chocolate milk is not in season? Okay, let me think. Again, my brain is a little fried. Die chocolademelk Die chocolademelk is nie in seisoen op die oomblik nie. So that is that in my home language. Like maybe Parlsey tries creating new weapons, or she basically becomes a fantasy engineer. So yeah, see, that's such a good idea. There's so much you can do just with the concept of blacksmith magical girl. There's like 1,000 different directions you can take that immediately. It's really, like, it's a cool idea. Blacksmith magical girl is the name of my chain metal band. I would listen to it. Oh, it's Tina's, of course. Hi, Tina's. Dude, I want that to be a band now. I would listen to that band. Parlsey has so much potential. She really does. Like, she's such a good character. Parlsey making tools and weapons for tempering them in real time through magic would be neat. Yeah, see, again, this... Wait, I want that show now. How do I feel about Q in Star Trek? I need to watch more Star Trek. I think I'm halfway through season 2 of TNG. So Q has come up now and then, but he hasn't hit his full stride yet. But considering I like Discord so much, who is basically like an MLP, he's like the Pony Sona of Q. I think I'll be quite into Q. So I'm excited. I think that might be one of the reasons I started watching TNG, is because Tom Delancey is in it, basically playing Discord. I'm always baffled how similar to German your language is. Yeah, it's really close. Like if I listen to German slowly enough, I can actually make out what's being said. Speaking of Discord, is that story you wrote still available to read? Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not the best because I wrote it in 2014. So I'm not sure how well it holds up, but I'll link it in chat just because why not? My profile. Here it is. Also, it's a safe for work story. I feel we always have to say that with fanfiction. There's nothing like explicit in it, so you don't need to worry about anything like that. Again, I don't really say it a lot in my videos, but I am ace, so I tend not to have a lot of that in any of my work, so we're all safe for work over here. Wait, Puffy, do you know what Wizardry is? It's a dungeon crawler game where you create your own characters and distribute points. Oh, I don't know that actually. Let me get this in. Oh, German? No, it's not German, but it's close. Sort of. It's like 2 generations removed from German. A blacksmith with a hammer that automatically forges whatever they are thinking of, as long as they have the materials and as long as they made it before. See, that's already a cool idea. Because you can kind of do like the Full Metal Alchemist thing, but you can give an entirely unique spin on it, where you're not just creating things out of the elements. But imagine if you have like a magical gold giant hammer, and you just have to hit the raw elements with it, and it like transmogrifies into whatever it is that you're thinking of, weapon-wise, like instantly. Also, there's a character kind of like that in Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah, there's the dwarf girl, and she's really into magic, but because she's a dwarf, she can't do magic, so she kind of just goes into like high explosives and things. Dragon Age is a really good game. Are you speaking Dutch? Close. I'm very close. It actually used to be called Dutch until about 100 years ago, where it had deviated enough to get its own name for the language. But like, you're very close. Like I can read Dutch. I have never taken a single lesson of Dutch in my life, and I can read it and understand it fine. Hey Josh, found you 2 days ago, been binging your channel, love it. Oh, that's so nice, thank you. No vor? no vor, I promise. I've only seen stories where there was a demon monster thing at the end and the main character has to kill it. Yeah, like, again, I always go back to Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is interesting because Sailor Moon always has a main bad guy who's like a person. But then when you get to the final like 2 or 3 episodes, you find out that the real bad guy is like basically a Lovecraftian negative energy from space, which has no physical form. Like, that is always who the bad guy is. And then you get to the final season and it gets like all metaphysical, and it starts talking about the nature of good and evil and like entropy and the universe and stuff. This is why I like Sailor Moon. So yeah, it doesn't really have the kill or redeem thing at the end. Like, it does for the final bad guy who's a person, but like the actual bad guy who's like the weird eldritch horror monster, it's just kind of fending it off. It's very interesting. Like, I recommend reading the manga. It gets wild in the final chapter. There's some amazing lines in there, which I'm not going to go into now because I'm tired, and if I start talking Sailor Moon, I never stop. So we're just going to nip it in the bud there. Dutch or Austrian? Again, very close. It's cool German. Shut up, Titus. So, oh no, I just realized something. If new magic has no cost or downside in High Guardian Spice, other than vaguely being the rot, why do warriors exist? Why swing a sword when you can make giant lasers that kill anything? See, again, like the comments and the people in the chat and stuff, they come up with more and more and more questions that I don't even think of. And I'm like, that's another good point. It just keeps on going. This show never stops having things where you can point out and go, wait, this also doesn't make sense. Like, it just keeps going. Good lord. And the problem is, if it was a good show, right? If something is a good show, you can ignore plot holes like that. Because it's like, the story is good, and this doesn't make sense, and that doesn't make sense, but the story is good, so who really cares? But because it's not enjoyable, you start picking at all these things that don't make sense, and you start finding more things that don't make sense. And that's kind of the trick. If your story is good and enjoyable and people like it, people will kind of ignore the parts that don't fully make sense. Zane, Afrikaner? Yes, Zane's got it. It's Afrikaans. Good job, Zane. I will have to read it. Yeah, absolutely. Do you think if Parlsey, Snapdragon, and Amaryllis were the main characters, that it could have worked? I don't think so for Amaryllis and Snapdragon, because I think what works about them is the fact that they are secondary characters. Like, that is why they are so enjoyable. I feel if you made them the main focus, it would kind of not work as well. They work better if you had like Parlsey and the other characters as the main characters, and you have them as secondary characters. And you can have them more involved than they are in the show, but they shouldn't be the main focus, because they work better as support than as main driving forces in the story. And that's what a lot of movies and stuff, like people who are really good at their jobs, even they make this mistake. This is a terrible example, but you have like the Cars movie, and then they decided to make an entire movie about Mater because he was so popular with kids. But Mater doesn't work as a main character, he only works as a supporting character. And that's part of why the second Cars movie is such a disaster, is because that character is not built to be the main focus. And you see them do this a lot, where they'll make like spin-off shows and sequels to movies and all kinds of things, and it almost never works. It's because that's not how the character was constructed. That's not how that character was put together. So you're changing the role of that character, and it may not have the foundation to carry that show. Because then you have things like Frasier, where Frasier as a character does have enough there to be a main focus of a story. So it just depends on how you've constructed the character, but I don't think Amaryllis and Snapdragon have enough there to be the main characters. They're better as like secondary characters or backup characters, or even like Team Rocket. They remind me a lot of Team Rocket. I think that might have been the inspiration, but I mean, I'm not mad at that. I like Team Rocket, so I'm fine with it. You'll never catch me. Tina's. The simple answer to all questions about High Guardian Spice is that the authors clearly weren't thinking that hard. This is true. Like, that is the answer at the end of the day to every single question or confusion about the show. Is like, the writers didn't think it through. That is the answer at the end of the day. Yeah, and Rosemary isn't even a magical knight, just pure brawl. It's kind of weird in a show with such a focus on magic. Yeah, especially because like Ray wanted to make it like a magical girl show, but then he doesn't give Rosemary magic. It's very odd. Again, the writers didn't think it through. Rosemary barely has a personality, she really doesn't. Shout out to Planet Sheen, I was thinking of it, I just couldn't remember what it was called. I don't mean to be rude, but I feel like Rosemary is kind of too boring to be a main character, you know? Like Parsley and Thyme and even Sage would have more reason to interact with the overarching plot. No, you are right. Rosemary, and I want to talk about this in the final thoughts video, because I don't want to repeat what I've already said about them in the main videos. But Rosemary has no actual drive, and she has no motivation. Like, why does she join High Guardian Academy? And is it to be a guardian like her mom? Because she never really says that. She wants to go to the academy so that she can become a guardian, but we never find out what a guardian is. So she doesn't actually have any motivation. She's not there for any reason, and she just kind of exists. and everything that happens in the show happens to her. Like, she doesn't really instigate anything. Things just happen to her, and then she just kind of has to deal with it. My brain is way too fried to talk about it as much as I want to, but that's kind of the gist I want to talk about as well. I did not realize the soundtrack at the end fight was a different arrangement for Scarborough Fair. Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. Wait, the writers of High God in Space were thinking things through? No, Tinas, keep up! We just said they didn't think things through. I don't know why, but I'd be down for a High God in Space fan game. Honestly, it could be fun. Like, you make it a cool little side scroller, like the new Ninja Turtles game. You do that with the High Guardian Spice characters, that could actually be really cool. Running out of blueberries? Oh no. But her mom is sad and she's sad about it. Yes. Okay. I retract everything I said. Rosemary is a brilliant character. Her mom is gone and she's sad about it. Of course. I forgot. Maybe a side character can still work as a main character, but the movie itself needs to change, like if it was originally serious and the side character was comedic relief. Yeah, you know what, Hieronymus, a good example of that is actually Lion King 1.5, where they made Timon and Pumbaa the main characters. Because you've got The Lion King, which is a relatively serious movie, and then you've got Lion King 1.5, which is one of my favorite things ever, because I am a giant troll at heart, and the entire point of Lion King 1.5 was to take the piss out of the Lion King. It's really funny. like Mufasa is dying off screen, and Timon and Pumbaa are just doing this stupid shit. It's amazing. I can't believe they did that. It's so good. Maybe High Guardian Spice was for Webtoon or Tapa's audience, then Crunchyroll got their hands on it. I don't actually know, because Rodriguez was talking about it being a webcomic. But if I look it up, he only did 2 comic pages, and that's it. So I don't fully understand what he means when he says it was a webcomic at first, because I can't find any evidence that it actually was. Ligma balls. Magical Girl Mecha Show. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's Magical Girl Ray Earth, which is like one of the originals. That's a Magical Girl show with mecha, and it's really good. Like, that's really cool. And it's not really a Magical Girl show. It's more like a isekai. But I just want to talk about Escaflowne because it's such a cool anime. And that has mechs in it. It's a fantasy show with mechs in it. It's really cool. And it works. I need to get on that. This sounds heretical, but I have never watched any Lion King. No, watch The Lion King first, and then watch Lion King 1.5, because people hate that movie because they're like, it's making fun of all these serious things in The Lion King. And I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. It's really good. My language written in Arabic script, but few Arabic words and different grammar. Oh, okay, I see. Lion King 1.5, my first exposure to MS3 like content. I love that movie so much. Yeah, and that's the thing, because they directly tried to make it like MST3K. Like, that was their concept. That's what they were trying to do. And it's just really good. Guys, watch Lion King 1.5. If you are not as holy about the Lion King, watch Lion King 1.5, because it's really stupid and makes fun of it, and it's made by like the same people. It's got all the same voice actors and everything, except for like not Michael J. Fox. Who's the guy who voices Simba? That's a lot of fish guy. Who's that guy? Anyway, apart from like the major stars, they've got Nathan Lane back as Timon. They've got Pumbaa's voice actor back. I think they've got Whoopi Goldberg back as Shenzi. Like, they've got all the original voice actors, and it's just this movie making fun of the Lion King. And Tina says, and when you're done, watch Northman. I still need to watch Northman. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, but with more meerkats. That is exactly what it is. That is 100% what that movie is. Madoka Magica is a better magical school show than High Guardian Spice, and it isn't even about a magic school. They were thinking about that. A lot of High Guardian Spice was inspired by cartoon cliches, but there aren't a lot of mean girl bitch characters that slay like Amaryllis or trans characters, so they had to use I kind of get what you're saying, yeah. You ever watched The Lion Guard? Man, they totally killed it with the character rigs. I have not watched The Lion Guard yet. I hear it's okay, though. Like, for the age range it's focusing on, I hear it's actually not bad. People seriously hate that movie just for that. I love it, especially the ending scene with the Disney characters taking the sits in the theater. Yeah, like, people hate that movie because they love The Lion King so much and they can't stand that this movie is making fun of it. And I'm like, again, I'm a big troll at heart. Again, Discord from My Little Pony is my favorite character for a reason. So I think it's hilarious. Matthew Broderick, thank you, Tina. So they don't have Matthew Broderick back for Simba, but he's not the main character in that movie, so it's fine. There's own ideas and experiences, and that's why part of the story was so good. Yeah, I'm going to talk about, like, sincerity when it comes to writing stories as well in the Final Thoughts video, because I think that's the main problem with High Guardian Spice. Apart from the fact that they didn't think anything through, that's like a main problem. I think magical girls are so fun because you can theme them around literally anything. Emotions, fairy tales, cosmic horror, plants, etc. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And a lot of people don't like the edgy magical girl shows, but I do think having that as an avenue have opened up so many more ideas that you can do with magical girl shows. Love the TV show with Timon and Pumbaa. That was such a long time ago. I used to watch that a lot in the 90s as well. I remember seeing 1.5 at the flea market back in the day with people selling pirate stuff, and I thought it was made up name from the pirates. No, here it's actually called Lion King 3, which I hate because I'm like, no, Lion King 1.5 is such a better name because it's exactly what it is. I want to make a magical girl show. High Guardian Spice is giving me life lessons on what not to do. Yeah, go for it, man. Yes, but people who hate it are also the type of people who get upset about Klingons making grammar errors, I guess. I just feel like I can understand why, because there are certain things that I'm holy about as well, where I don't want to see something making fun of it. And again, I keep saying Sailor Moon, but I don't mind when people make fun of Sailor Moon, because a lot of Sailor Moon is really silly. I think if people made fun of Utena, I'd get very upset, because I love Utena so much. But again, it's The Lion King, and I love The Lion King, don't get me wrong, I was obsessed with The Lion King for a very long time. But it's a giant Disney product, so the fact that I know the thing making fun of it is also a Disney product, but the fact that they can make fun of themselves is kind of, I don't know. I kind of get it, but at the same time I'm like, yeah, but also Timon is my favorite character, so I also love that there's an entire movie about him. Instead of magical girls, how about Berserker Night Girls? I want to say that there are anime like that, but I can't think of any right off the top of my head. I want to mention Magical Girl Rayearth again, but I don't think it goes that far. What's your favorite Studio Trigger shows? Oh, I'd have to look up Studio Triggers, like their, what do you call it? Like their production thing. Again, if you just came in late, my brain is fried tonight, like really fried. Pervy jokes by adult men of Sailor Moon are kind of creepy. Yeah, it's also kind of boring. It's like, okay, I don't understand what you're trying to point out that none of us can't just see. I don't know. I just feel it's such a blasé kind of thing to point out. Like, it's not that shocking. It's okay. I can't think of what else it is. It's like, okay. Okay, I'm just looking at Trigger's lineup here. A lot of their big shows I haven't seen yet. I will admit that. Let's go down the list. What have I seen from Studio Trigger? Okay, I clearly need to watch more Studio Trigger because most of these I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I got it in Spice 1.5, but it's just that one girl who down at the cave test. I would unironically watch that and probably really enjoy it. Making fun of Utena is like making fun of Rembrandt. You can do it for sure, but you don't make it but it doesn't make it a good idea. Yeah, agreed. Also, like Utena, anything you can make fun of about that show is something that the show itself is fully aware of. but not making fun of, if that makes sense. I would try and make a video about Utina, but I don't think I'd be able to, just because it's such a concrete octopus of a thing. It's so impenetrable and convoluted that trying to structure it in a video to explain it to people would make it a lot more confusing than it actually is. Like, read up a trigger list, like a content warning list, and then watch Utina. That's all I can say about it. Okay, we're going to do a few more questions, and then I'm going to call it a night. And we will finish Parsley's Bomb next weekend. And it'll be around the same time, because I tend to find this time works well. Because it's not too early for the Americans, and it's not too late for me. And I'm very sorry to anyone on the Australian side of things. Do you like other animal Disney movies? I do. I actually do like a lot of Disney products. Not so much their newer stuff, but there's a lot of Disney, I call them products as what they are. There's a lot of Disney products that I really like. I'm a giant fan of Disney Ducks. Disney Ducks are where it's at. Like the entire Disney Duck universe, like that is some good stuff. Treasure Planet is the best version of that tale put on big screen. The only competition Treasure Planet has is Muppet Treasure Island. And I'm not even making a joke. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm very serious when I say that. Muppet Treasure Island is really good. Night, Zane. Seapuff trying to explain Utina to me once over a stream. That was 4 years ago and we're still having that discussion. It's true. Utina is... Whew, Ikuhara was on one with that one. Where's my Ikuhara image? I'll say goodnight in a moment. I just want to bring up my favorite Ikuhara image ever, which is from an interview with him at some other anime event where he was talking about Utina. He was talking about the movie, but I just love it so much. Where is it? Here. Utina, which one? I think it's this one. No, that's the one where he talks about cross-dressing. Okay, that's where he says my job is anime. Is it this one? Yes, here it is. Hold on. Let me just drop it into OBS. And I'll leave this as our final words of wisdom to leave you on from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ikuhara. Ah, yes. This explains so much. Okay, I'm gonna say goodnight, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for hanging out and thanks for coming to the stream. I'm sorry it was a little shorter than usual, but we will stream again next weekend and it'll be like a proper stream. I just didn't want to bail on you guys, but we did okay, I think, and my wrist is not screaming at me, so I think we did alright. Bye guys, bye, me and my Gaster and Lovely Girls and Lorenzo, bye Tinas, Eldritch Abomination, Kendi, I want to say Kennedy, but Kendi Banana, Josh Roundtree, Troy, Zane, Penguin. Night everyone. Oh, I need to do the goodbye. Hold on, I can't just say in stream, I have to do this whole thing. What even is streaming, guys? Do this. There we go. Okay, bye guys.
Oh,